Coach, just everything the team went through last week, to the emotions of the big win, and then with Ethan, and then against a team that probably didn't bring out a lot of emotion because of the name. Just were you impressed by the way the guys focused during the week and how they played on Saturday?
Yeah, that's Coach put the word of the week early on into their brain, and it was respond. With all the things going on, you had the emotional highs of what happened the first week, and then obviously the tragedy with Ethan and those things, and then now you got to go play a football game against. We watched the tape with those guys, and they had 350 plus yards against SMU. So it was just this whole mixed bag of emotions going in there, but the young men responded the right way, and it's a mark of a good football team. Both, offense, defense, special teams. Everybody all together, being able to execute like that, and not have a whole bunch of emotional penalties. It could have been a really sloppy game, and it ended up not being that way. And that again, that's a mark of a mature football team. So again, the process still has to continue to improve. But it was a good sign from the guys.
Leo, can you talk about in the third and the fourth quarter when you guys kind of emptied out the bench, the guys coming on there playing with that same intensity, and just what does that say and speak to about this team's identity and culture that you guys are building? Yeah, well, the identity and the culture, so that starts at the top, right? That's Coach Norvell and climb and all the things, be desperate to go out there and put things on display. That's number one from the top. But it shows a little character from the guys who went in there. You had guys who took that field that did not get a single rep of game week preparation. Okay, they were on the Black Ops or the MIB, the show teams. They did not get one rep of what we were doing game plan wise. Okay, so to go out there and to execute and to do the things and that they needed to X's and O's wise, that was super impressive. That's what you live for as a coach. I think it's a greater testament to the way they prepared and understanding, like, there is a certain way you got to go out there and do things, right? There's a certain way we're going to look if you take that grass. And did we do that at all times? No, we didn't. But guys like Gavin Holmes, Bracewell, you saw Cromartie going there. You saw Boatwright going there. You saw the track going there. You saw Zay Thomas. You saw everybody, and they were trying to run around and hit people. So it was fun to watch, and it was great, and it only reinforces the process. Again, we always go back to that word, the process. But you never know when your time is called, and their time was called, and they sat there in those meetings and they listened. They didn't get any reps, but they sat there and listened, and just through the way we practice, the way we meet, the way we go against each other in one-on-ones, the way we compete against the offense, those guys live the standard on the grass, which is awesome to see. So now you got film to coach those guys, because that was the first, that was the first action for a lot of them. So it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Brendan? With Ashton Bracewell stop on fourth down, from my vantage point, see some of the response from teammates on the sideline when he got to the sideline. That was cool. For you to see guys like Juice being engaged emotionally, but just being that close. What does that say about where this group is going? I guess.
I think that goes back to one of the things that Coach Norvell said in one of his press conferences about, like, making sure that the team, the chemistry, the camaraderie between the guys was fixed and important versus whatever had gone on in the past. I think that was a great display of it, because on multiple fronts, right? Bracewell was a guy who, when I got here, he wasn't even on the team because he was injured, and then he fought his way back, right, through his process, fought his way back to get on here. Got very limited reps, okay, but showed up every day, works his butt off, gets yelled at just as much as every other guy out there. And when he went in there, he made a play, and it was like, I looked over and I saw, and like you said, those guys were ecstatic for him. You know what I mean? I think that probably tells more where these guys are as a team in terms of in terms of the bonding. You know what I mean? The chemistry between them. So again, you had a lot of guys cheering for a lot of guys out there, truly wanting those guys to do well. So it was fun to watch, and hopefully we get to do those things again.
Chris,
with a bye week, what is it that you really want to see from your group as you guys prepare people against state?
maturity. I mean, I told those guys out there that they better watch the film the correct way. I said, if you watch the film the correct way, then we will get better. We will get better from the session. We will go out there and understand that teams aren't going to see what that was. They're going to see how to attack us. They're going to see the times we were in the wrong leverage. They're going to see the times we were in the wrong call. They're going to see those things, and then they're going to scheme against it. So, but the guys, again, this is a group that if you lay it out there in front of them, they're more than willing to go out there and do it. That's kind of where what I've seen my observations from them. Like, if you lay it out there and you make it clear as day, hey, this is what it is, this is what we expect, this is our plan to go get it, that this is a group that's hungry enough to right now to still go do that. So I thought they handled business today. Just had photos, gonna feed them well right now, and then let them get off, and then really execute the plan for the week. Coach Norvell laid out a plan for the bye week, how to get better, academically wise, getting the guys caught up with their work and seeing professors, physically wise, the recovery, the prehab, all those things, and then football wise, all the things that can come back to hurt us later on when you're playing those championship caliber teams, and then also getting ahead on advanced scouting. This next run of 3 weeks here is going to be really, really crucial for us in terms of coming back with Kent State, and what the problems they present. Then the game on Friday after that, and then the game after that is a big one as well. So I think it's important to have a clear plan, which Coach laid out, and then us to go out there and execute the plan.
All right. For Daryl, not only to have a sack real early in that game, but it looked like he beat a double team on it too. Mm-hmm. Is he becoming the guy you guys challenge him to be?
Yeah, he's, again, I say that with Earl, and he's him. Earl is in a position to make those bigger plays, right? The interceptions, the big hits like that. For those big guys, you really have to go back there and watch all their snaps inside. There's not many times where he's not making the play and he's one-on-one with somebody. Like, especially the first game that we played. They leave him one-on-one, and he is falling back on all those tackles. Those runs aren't hitting up there because of him, And so I think with him, it's just going to be it's kind of the water drop deal. Like, he's just going to consistently be really, really good, and then there's going to be a game or two where his number is going to be called, and it's going to be like, wow, this guy is really good, and he's been like that the whole time so far. So I'm just happy that he's gotten a chance to truly embrace coming back. He's feeling himself getting better. He's loving the room. He's loving how he's getting coached. Again, the process is working, and I think that he's a great example of somebody who, at the right time, his name will explode.
Leo? With Earl, obviously, like you mentioned, we've seen the big hits, we've seen the interceptions, but the way guys respond to him and the way he's kind of taking that leadership role, obviously what he did in pregame with Ethan's jersey and across his nose tape, and just the way that when he makes a play, guys gravitate towards him, the interception, guys are blocking for him. What does it say about him and his character?
Yeah, I mean, that's confidence, right? I know everybody. We got a large group of guys that are like that have been just waiting for their time to their name to be called, and I think that it's great. It's great to see. Again, Daryl's one of them. Earl. You got Juice and those linebackers in there. I think you got a lot of guys who are poised in that moment. AB is playing his butt off, I think. And whenever those guys get a chance to go live on the grass, you're seeing it. You're seeing the passion, the emotion come out, and that's what we're going to be about. We're going to want to do things the right way, but to give them the confidence to go out there and play like that, that's really infectious, right? Those guys gravitate towards Earl, and they know that he puts in all the work and all the time, and when the performance matches that, you're happy for him. You're happy for your teammate.
Corey?
Staying with Earl real quick, he had the interception, but there was a play, I think the possession before, where he breaks on a route and just misses a pick six. How much is that? I mean, obviously he's got physical ability to get it, but the studying and knowing what to look for and triggering that quickly, how much was that just what he did Sunday to Friday to get ready for that?
Yeah, again, I'm going to overuse this word. That's the process, right? You starting with scouting report and knowing how they're going to attack you, different formations, different guys on and off the ball, for all those things, and then being able to match up the calls. Coach Coop, Pat, Jaleel, Greg Moss, those guys did a great job. Coach Arnett, who's really taken over how we attack the defense throughout the week to make sure that those guys are in those situations throughout the game. he saw that play. He saw that play numerous times in the week, you know, and so for him to recognize it and him to go put himself in a position to just be instinctual and just react. But now again, you know, you talk about the process, how we can get better. Like that should be a pick six, okay? Like, and he knows it. He knew it too. You saw his reactions after the play. You know what I mean? But now it's, hey, if you're looking at the play, great break on the ball, PBU, get off the field. Now, how we get better? Next time he's in that situation, he's gonna pick the ball up and run it in for a touchdown. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of mindset we want to have around here.
Peter?
Going back with the turnover, Jerry almost had a big save. He didn't stumble, but just the emphasis of producing turnovers and trying to make it a consistent thing. That after with the previous year, only had like what 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Just how much is having to put more emphasis in the consistency of building and creating turnovers of this team?
Yeah, I think the turnover, we want to say takeaways. So we take the ball away when guys are aggressive, right? It's usually big hits affecting the quarterback or guys seeing the ball and having the confidence to go jump the ball, you know. And I think those are 2 examples where you saw Earl in the deep center post. Again, another play we threw at him like crazy. Those deep stare routes and you can see him read it, and then he recognized, he turned, bolted to the post, looked back, and went up and got the ball. Same thing with Jerry. They had moved the ball a little bit down the field, and then we called the coverage to let him play with his eyes. And so he's looking in there. He recognizes the set again, and so you see him stop real quick, and then he goes and breaks on it. It comes back to the confidence, right? It comes back to those guys knowing what they're seeing and being able to react on it. I mean, and again, kudos to those 2 for seizing their opportunity, but we need more. You know, I want to rip the ball out. I want to knock guys. I want to dominate contact guys so hard that they give up the ball. You know, I want to see guys actively going in there and punch the ball. You know what I mean? We had multiple opportunities for these quarterbacks who are running around back there to have sack calls, fumbles back there. You know what I mean? So if you're watching the tape to be happy, yeah, great. 2 takeaways to this kind of stuff. For where we want to go and what this group can do, like there's a lot of opportunities out there to grow this, just watching the film and grow this bye week. So that's going to continue to be a huge emphasis on taking the ball away.
Brendan?
Were there any players who either got opportunities or maybe extended opportunities who caused you to go back and reevaluate and say, okay, like this might be a player who needs a larger role?
Yeah, I think AJ Cottrell, you know, the first week, he's a guy who came here and when we got here, he just Mr. Do everything right and work hard, blue collar kind of guy. And then the first game, the plans were to get him in more extensively, and we just weren't able to. And so I thought Paps did a great job of making sure to be really intentional about getting him in the game early. And you saw, and he played his butt off. He showed that he belonged. You know, same thing with Donnie. I thought, you know, the game, the way it flowed last week, you know, we had Shy take some of those rover reps and all this kind of stuff, and then told Donnie, you know what, he's earned the right to go out there and play football for Florida State. So Coop did a great job of putting him in early and letting him get set. You saw he had a huge impact too in there. So I'd say AJ, Donnie, those guys. There's a lot of guys that kind of work themselves in a way where you're like, hey, he probably needs to play a little bit more. But I would say those are 2 guys that first off the top of my head.
Ira?
The success you guys have had so far this season, do you think that could just give those guys a taste of how good they could be? Are you seeing that opening guys' eyes to what the potential of this defense might be?
You know, the thing I think you see is when you stand up in front of them and you lay out the plan and you tell them to reinvest in the process and you tell them that this is the way it should be and is going to be, there is more of a, all right, let's get it done versus I don't know if this is going to work. You know, why are we doing it this way? It's more of a like, all right, let's go do it. You know, and again, that's a testament to the guys. That's a testament to the coaches being able to clearly articulate what we want to do and how we want to do it. And then again, it's always about the players on the grass. All right, those guys, if they believe you, they believe like, hey, he cares about me. He's going to put me in the right positions to go make plays. Then they'll run through a brick wall for you. And those guys, the D-line with T-Knight and Meach and Odell and those guys, Papuchis, Sims, Arnett, those guys with the linebackers, you know, Coop, Pat, Greg, all those guys, you know, the guys know that they care. The guys know that the positions that they're going to be in throughout the week, the standards that we're trying to make sure we live up to, the identity that we want to be about, it's working. So double down on it, you know, double down on it.
Two more, Corey. Obviously, when you took this job, things didn't go well last year here. You saw the roster, you made additions to the roster. In the spring, I know it's only 2 games, you haven't won a championship, you haven't hoisted a trophy. Did you think this kind of performance was possible? Are you even a little surprised at how well you guys have played so early this season or not?
You know, when we were coming over here and looking at the roster after all the additions, right? Because you didn't know guys coming and going, all this kind of stuff, you know. You knew that there was talent and ability. But I've been on plenty of teams, and my family sitting there. We've been on plenty of universities where we've had enough talent and we've had enough athletic ability, but we didn't have the culture behind it. We didn't have the chemistry behind it. We didn't have the identity behind it. We didn't have that one thing that just let them turn loose. So they were good, but they weren't great. You know, coming here, you saw. I mean, we got D linemen that are big and fast and twitchy, can run, got length. You know, we got linebackers who all their skill sets. I mean, they can cover, they can blitz, they can read and react, they can do those things. We got DBs who are long, can run, loose hips, all those things. So now it's just a matter of getting the coaches on the same page and then making sure that everything we articulate to the guys is easy for them to absorb and apply to the grass. And so, again, I think that's a whole program deal where I think the ability and the talent is starting to match up with what is expected, the standard, you know. And we still got a lot of stuff to clean up. That's ridiculous. We gave 100 yards rushing guys like that. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Standard is a standard, you know. And I barked at the. I don't know if you guys saw me on the sideline. I was barking at the Black Ops guys as soon as that. I was barking at the Black Ops guys for not going hard and trying to block the PAT field goal to get the spike baseball. You know what I mean? Like that's what we do around here. Now I'm glad that they played, but everybody, it don't matter. It don't matter if you're a first-team All-American or the Black Ops guy who just won the game for 2 snaps. Like, we're gonna play a certain way. That's it. We're gonna play a certain way. We're gonna practice a certain way. We're gonna be in meetings a certain way. We're gonna dress a certain way. We're gonna do things a certain way. And the guys who do that, you know, you love to see them go out there and perform and play and be great teammates and represent this university, represent their families the way they're supposed to do that thing, you know. And so we're gonna double down on the process. And I know it's only 2 games, but that's all we got right now. So we're gonna just worry about today and fellowshipping over here with all of our families and the teammates after a great pitcher day, and then get to work tomorrow morning and seeing how we can get one better for the week.
Bob, last one.
Coach, for Amaree Williams to probably more needed on offense now with Randy Pippen's injury, but for him to have a touchdown and a sack, and just how impactful can he be, even if maybe more of his time is focused on offense?
Yeah, I was just telling this story out there. So it's crazy that you say that. We just kick a PAT field goal, okay? And Amaree comes off the field and he's running at me, and he stops. I'm like, hey, great job, blah, 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 blah. He's like, Coach, can I go in on defense? And I said, if the head man lets you go on defense, okay, no problem. I didn't think he was gonna go over there and tell him, like, well, I mean, we're up, you know, I didn't think he was gonna go over there and tell him. He goes over there, right? He disappears from me, and we're about to go on defense, whatever. And then Coach Norvell clicks over, and he's like, hey, can you guys use Amaree? Like, okay. I'm like, pass rush. And T9 was like, yeah, pass rush situations. Like, okay, bet. He's live. Okay, great. We got Amaree for pass rush situations. He ain't even been over there in a couple weeks, but let's go. He's on it. He goes out there, and we get him. Guys do a great job, and we get him in the 3rd down situations, right? First thing we do, cheetah. I see Amaree going in there, and he is playing his butt off. You know what I mean? He's going out there and he's having fun, and you can see the life in him. And then he gets a sack, and he's all elated. Like that's what Florida State is about. You know, that's what this team is about. I think, again, it all starts with the master plan and Coach Norvell having that plan ahead of time. Like we were talking about Amaree all in the offseason. You guys remember in spring ball, he was working on defense the whole time almost. You know what I mean? So to go over to offense and do what he did, but have a foundation of defense, that was Coach Norvell back in the spring having that plan, you know. And so him having that plan, and then Amaree putting himself in a position where he can go do that again, you know, just giving the guy a chance.
just letting him go out there on the grass, full of confidence and loving where he's at, and he did it. So I don't know when the last time that happened, where a guy scored a touchdown and had a sack in the same game here. I don't know, but you know, you're really happy for the guy.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, Tony.